roupa, porque no fim eu sei que vou tirar. Fala tchau pro seu batom na boca e fala oi pra quem te faz pirar. Se você já tá com a mesma sensação, pode vir, gente, que eu dou um bugão. Tá descontrolada toda essa cara e não para porque a coisa ficou mara. Vou te ganhar no cansaço, no cansaço, no cansaço. Vamos fazer um regaço, um regaço, um regaço. Colarinha dos amassos, amassos, amassos. Vamos fazer um regaço, um regaço, um regaço. Rafa Gomes. Digam no beat. Não perde tempo escolhendo a roupa, porque no fim eu sei que vou tirar. Fala tchau pro seu batom na boca e fala oi pra quem te faz pirar. Se você já tá com a mesma sensação, pode vir, que eu tô um bugão. Tá descontrolada toda essa tara e não para porque a coisa ficou mara. Vou te ganhar no cansaço, no cansaço, no cansaço. Vamos fazer um regaço, um regaço, um regaço. Colar em altos amassos, amassos, amassos. Vamos fazer um regaço, um regaço, um regaço. Vou te ganhar no cansaço, no cansaço, no cansaço. Vamos fazer um regaço.
The views, opinions, and representations expressed on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network and its website are those of the hosts, guests, and participants, and are not necessarily those of or endorsed by the network, its affiliated stations and broadcasts, the management, other hosts, or advertisers of the network. The shows found on the Night Dreams Talk Radio Network can, but do not necessarily, promote any particular lifestyle, belief, religion, political affiliation, or other personal practice. These shows are for entertainment purposes only, and are not intended to treat, diagnose, and or claim any cure of disease or condition, or give any medical or legal advice. You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
Well, that is me. Well, good evening, good morning, depending on your time zone, from the Pacific to Atlantic to worldwide. You're listening to me with a big mouth on Night Dreams Talk Radio After Dark. Tonight, we got a great guest. We have Michael. Oh, boy, did I really do that? We got Wayne Mc Farland on tonight. We're going to be talking about Tales from the Day, one of his books. He's in the process of, well, finishing off another book. He's going to be on right after this. So maybe you want to get yourself a nice cup of Java, a nice hot cocoa, find a nice warm fireplace, because you know summer's here coming very shortly. So this is the last probably couple weeks you're going to be able to get next to that fireplace, unless you really enjoy the heat. I don't know. I'd rather wait till I'm dead and find out if I'm going to find the heat or not. Anyway, we'll be back right after this.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
You're listening to my friend Gary Anderson on Night Dreams Talk Radio, the best in paranormal radio.
Well, John, I keep telling you, maybe not the best, but certainly there's a lot worse than my show. Hey, tonight we got a great guest on tonight. You might want to get, like I said, get yourself a nice cup of Java and settle in a nice easy chair. We got Wayne Mc Farland. Wayne, how you doing, my friend?
Hey, Gary, how nice to talk to you again. I am doing wonderful. Nice day in Colorado. Birds are singing. Well, shivering a little bit. It snowed last night, but hey, we're almost out of that.
Oh, wow. You know, up here where I am at the compound, Gig Harbor, Washington, the weather has been nice. It's supposed to be like in the mid-60s tomorrow, sun shining. Next week, they're saying in the 70s. And you know what I did? I broke my Street Glide Harley out of my man cave. And I tell you, I went for a long ride yesterday. Tomorrow, I plan to go for another ride again. And I tell you, it's nothing like getting on the road and just, feeling part of nature.
This is like talking about how big the fish was you caught. I got no way to prove you wrong that it's really going to be 70 degrees up there. Everybody knows it just rains in Washington. It never gets warm. It's foggy all the time. I mean, it's common knowledge.
Well, you're totally wrong. One day last year I think it was like about the March 19th, okay, we hit 90-some degrees. One day in March, we never hit that temperature ever. We'll probably never hit it again. I'm still trying to figure out how it happened.
That kind of sunshine probably killed all the mold, right?
Yeah, or something. I tell you, it rains so much. And I live on a mini farm. I got all these cedar trees and I haven't been very motivated even to do anything not feeling good. I'm feeling good now all of a sudden. I don't know why. Maybe it's the weather. But I kind of didn't go in my man cave for 3 months. And when I went in there, I found out don't leave a nice black bike in a man cave that developed a major leak on the roof. And the birds decided, hey, this is a good place to keep, warm in the winter. And
they probably did not use the outhouse, I would guess.
Well, put it this way. My bike was pure black, and now it was a mixture of black and white and gray.
like a bird-induced zebra bike, right?
Oh,
yeah. Well, that's great. Great you're still riding. A lot of people give it up. I rode for years in the Midwest and then moved to California and took my bike out on the freeway a couple times. And as you know, Gary, you get in California freeways, it's not a matter of if you're going to have an accident. It's just a matter of when and how bad it's going to be.
Well, I don't know if I told you this, but, I've gone 43 years with never dropping a bike, never having an accident, and I was averaging around 16 to 18,000 miles a year up to last year. Last year, because of health issues, I dropped it down to like 2,000 miles. Never had any issues. And me and my wife go in this little cafe I'd never been in near our house, really run down. I go in there, and there's an old-time biker, sitting, in a table, and he starts talking to us. And, he started saying, well, how many times have you dropped your bike in all the years you've been riding? And I told him how many years I rode, and I said, I never did it. Not a half an hour later, going up a hill to the Harley dealer, which I had my wife behind me. I had her talked in. I was going to buy all this new chrome bling for the bike, Yeah. It was a semi-truck in front of us. The light turned red. It was a hill. And when the truck went, there was this big rock in the middle of the road, right where my front wheel was going to hit.
Oh, man.
And I dropped the bike. And I tell you what, the bad part is I watched my wife go flying before I went underneath the bike. And, it was so coincidental. Here's a guy, right, talking to me about, I can't believe you've gone 40-some years without crashing a bike or dropping it. Half an hour later, I do it. So maybe it's psychological. I don't know.
Your wife has never mentioned that to you, though, again, right?
Well,
well,
she, what? She actually, because she got hurt pretty bad. It took her months for her shoulder to quit hurting. And you have to imagine, my bike weighs like maybe 1,000, close to 1,100 pounds.
Yeah.
And when I went down, I was underneath it as it slid 25 feet down the hill, feeling every pound of that bike. And, my wife, waited 3 months later, and I figured she never would get on the bike again. Because a real quick story. The whole time we've been married, I couldn't get her on the bike. And then all of a sudden, 2 years ago, she asked to get on the bike, and now she loves it. 3 months after that, I figured, okay, well, now she, will never ride on the bike again. Hey, in a way, I hope she's not listening. In a way, it was nice when she wasn't riding with me because I could do what I wanted to do and hang with my friends and, be what I am sometimes. And I won't even tell you what that is. But now she just loves riding on the bike. And, she can't wait to they'll start getting on the back of it again. But I'm terrified because once you watch your wife go flying off, she could have got killed.
Yeah, it's really dangerous. I went down one time myself, but riding a motorcycle, once you've done it a little bit, it's like a virus you never quite get rid of. I mean, when spring comes, Gary, I got to tell you, I miss it every year to this very day, and it's been quite a while. But anybody who's ridden a bike at all in a non-freeway setting, it's just something that you always remember, you always love to do. So I hear it, but one accident in all those years, that's pretty unusual. Really.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll make up for it the next, because I'm going on 68 years old. So, my riding time is getting numbered, but, I will say this, it keeps you young because, when you're out riding, you have to be so much, observant to what's going on all around you constantly. You have to look, on side roads, cars coming out of their driveways, cars maybe stopping. Your attention is really focused. And you know what? I hate to say it. My younger kids say, Dad, you don't act your age. You act like a 30-year-old. You drive like a 30-year-old. And I blame it all on riding a motorcycle because I think it keeps me younger emotionally.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at that at all. And what I always loved, and my friends who rode always loved, was a motorcycle is the only thing other than riding a horse, I think, where you really feel like you have some kind of control. When you kick the gears and you turn the throttle, you really feel like you're in command of it. Oftentimes you're not, but you feel that you are. And I don't think there's any other driving experience in the world, anything like riding a motorcycle. And like I say, the only thing I've ever compared it to with people is riding a horse. It's kind of the same, but except that horses don't always stop when you say whoa. But
the motorcycles don't either.
Yeah, well, that's true too, as it sounds like you found out. So, well, all kidding aside about Washington, I have a lot of friends around the Seattle area, and they tell me that all the myths about the rain. I used to do business in Vancouver and would fly through there all the time, and I have to tell you, Gary, I flew in there a lot, and never once was it anything other than drop dead beautiful.
I love it. It's so much to do here.
We're all stuck. What's that?
It's just so much to do here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. And nowadays you can just go out to the Boeing plant and watch them melt.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So those poor folks got some challenges. And they're a huge employer. They're the biggest employer in Washington, aren't they? Boeing?
Oh, they are, yes. And hopefully they're going to stay here. They're slowly, migrating out.
Yeah. Well, I don't think, they've had that base there for so many years. I would be shocked if they left. And, one thing I was going to mention to you, I've had the opportunity, fortunately for me, to be on your show once before. And, as a first-time author, one thing that I would like to say anyway, to anybody else out there who's thinking about, scribing a tome, is there's a couple things that I think authors or potential authors should know. One is that right now there's so much stuff out there. The first thing to realize is that even if you're signed with a major publisher like Random House or somebody, authors just don't get the promotional support that they used to. So that means that if you're an author, you have to do a lot of promotion yourself for your book. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is a reality that people don't realize. But the bad part about it, or the downside, is that there's tons of information out there and people who would gladly take your money to do non-productive things for you about how the way to publicize a novel or whatever it is you've written is on social media and building following, this and that. And I have to tell you, in my view, that's nonsense and a waste of time.